What's up, freaks? Welcome to The Laughing Dead, your one-stop shop for all things horrific. I'm Ethan, and I'll be your host on tonight's twisted journey. And believe me, folks, this one's a trip.
Oh, really?
When the Kaplan brothers sat down to write Match, they didn't have to look far for inspiration. The online dating scene is a sea of hungry sharks. Women nowadays have to endure a constant deluge of indecent proposition, non-consensual dick pics, and hey, those are the lucky ones.
I don't feel lucky.
Lucky because there's one lowly creature dwelling in the shadows that's far worse than any shark. And that's the internet catfish. This movie took that awkward and often comical ideal and drove it right off the cliff, resulting in one of the most unhinged, nonsensical, and dare I say awesome B-horror films of the year. You could say this one is for the ladies. Giggity, 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 giggity. But that would be a lie. Either way, strap in because we're going to get into it. The introduction to this film isn't anything to write home about. We start with your basic unnamed captive girl trope. She's doped to the gills in a crusty old wheelchair. Nice overdose of foreshadowing, but otherwise irrelevant. Cut to Paula, our fearless heroine and spicy Latina, supposedly in her late 20s or so.
I gotta call bullshit.
Unlucky in love and terminally single, she decides to try her luck with internet dating.
Getting killed?
Shockingly, it doesn't go well. Until one day she matches with Henry, a guy who's clearly too good to be true, despite the red flag
Honey, you're telling me you found the one guy who still cares about COVID?
and the warnings from her saucy sister Maria.
This guy is way too articulate.
Paula agrees to meet him, not at a restaurant, not at a public place, but at his house for the very first date.
You stupid fuck!
Enter Lucille. No, not that Lucille. This one. She's a bitter old bird who has only one wish on this earth, and that's to have her a grandchild. While that sounds like a pretty standard guilt trip for many of our aging parents, Lucille here has more than a few dark secrets.
Fornication, treason, incest.
You see, her obsession has led her down the road to madness, and her deceptive dating profile is only the tip of the iceberg. We quickly see that Lucille is unwell, and while that move would have been enough for me to pass on the wine, Paula doesn't have the nerve to be rude. You know, fatal politeness has never been my style, but Paula here seems to lack any sense of self-preservation, so she drinks the cocktail, thus sealing her fate. We're granted with a little confirmation as Paula messages Henry once more, and the notification dings in Lucille's pocket. But it's too late. Paula loses consciousness. She wakes up strapped into that same crusty-ass wheelchair. Half conscious, she's wheeled through an impossibly long hallway. Seriously, though, how big is this guy's fucking house? And dropped into a grimy bedroom where we finally meet the real star. Introducing Henry. No, not that Henry. This one. See, Henry here is Mama's special boy. Her only hope at having a beautiful little grandbaby. But unfortunately, there's a catch.
So ugly.
Besides the obvious setbacks, Henry here has zero fucking game. And other than having the biggest damn wang I've ever seen,
It was too big.
the dude just doesn't have much to offer the finer sex. And despite many practice sessions with Lucille, yeah, you heard that right, he just can't seem to seal the deal with a girl who's not his mommy. Henry's one of those pitiful antagonists that you can't help but feel bad for. He's stuck between a controlling mother and a drove of women who hate him on sight. He's physically and abused daily, and he has the mental capacity of a 5-year-old. But psychoanalysis aside, Henry still manages to be a real lady killer. And as nice as Paula seems, she isn't any different. When she's delivered to Henry like a room service tray, it's all she can do to vomit on the floor at the sight of his deformed manhood. Henry promptly slips in the puke and gets a nice bonk on the head, thus beginning a cycle of Paula accidentally besting the mutant man-child, somehow, all the while making the absolute worst decisions possible. She continuously skitters around the house, trying random doors that surely don't lead to freedom. You're still on the second floor, and the game of cat and mouse that ensues has a nightmare-like quality that's downright fun, even if it makes little sense. Now for the kills. While Match isn't exactly a bloodfest, it does have a couple choice moments where the brutality makes up for the low kill count. Besides a room full of past blind dates, we don't really get much in the beginning besides poor Henry's massive hog getting snapped in a rat trap. And while that isn't technically a kill, it makes the list simply because I died a little bit inside watching it.
I am dead inside.
And then we have poor Natalie. See, Natalie's a more conventional catfish, whose photos are, let's say, a little dated. We're assaulted with a cringeworthy double catfish sexting session that plays like a crime against humanity. Then she turns up to Lucille's place for a quickie with Henry just to meet Lucille instead. She is not thrilled.
I said, how much do you weigh?
Thankfully, the shit is already headed for the fan, because Maria and Ryan are at the door and they ain't selling.
We're not selling anything.
They bust in, creating just enough chaos for Nat to catch the skull fucking she never signed up for. Next we have our boy Ryan, or as I refer to him, Captain Save-A-Ho. Brian is Paula's ex, and he wants her back something terrible. So when Paula's sister Maria gives the call,
If we live through this, your sister's gonna owe me.
Yeah, right. I'm sure she'll just run right into your arms.
he shows up, police baton in tow, ready to catch a nail-embedded bat to the face. And he's just hateable enough for it to be fucking satisfying, especially since Henry can't seem to yank it free. After maximum effort, it finally breaks loose, peeling half his face off with a horrendous squelch. We salute you, Captain. You've served honorably. And then Eli gets rolled in front of a bullet and he dies just as unremarkably as he lived. More on him later. The next poor unfortunate soul is Maria, Paula's sassy sister. Despite catching a hot one from Paula that knocks her out cold, she really steps up near the climax of the film. No, not that climax. Who the hell is editing this?
Shame on you.
Maria steps up in the end and has an all-out scrap with Lucille. And despite having a bullet in her shoulder, she catches the old crone with a wine bottle and lays a smackdown on her dusty ass. Fast forward 10 seconds and she somehow finds her throat split wide open with that same bottle's jagged edge. Which brings us to the most rewarding kill of the movie. You see, Henry isn't all bad. He's just stuck between his psychotic mother and a medically enhanced boner.
I have you on the highest dose of boner pills.
The poor old fool don't know any better. Well, in the end, he shows a little more comprehension than we expected, because when Lucille once again tries to push him to seal the deal with Paula, he snaps, and he snaps, and he bonks Lucille right into the next plane. And when that still doesn't shut her old ass up, he drops a river dance right on her face. See, I told you Henry's not that bad. He's just been misled.
Perhaps because your mental abilities are so limited.
Final thoughts. Match is a wild ride, rich with outrageous moments and twisted horror. But the plot holes, they're almost big enough to swallow up this whole shit show into the abyss. With modern technology at play, Lucille's multi-victim murder operation would have been shut down after the first missing persons report. And then there's Paula, our clueless final girl. She survives in spite of herself, but that's nothing new to the horror genre. The real problem I have is her falling for Eli. See, Eli's Lucille's other son and the pretty face she uses online. Despite his bullshit story about being a captive too, we find in the end that Eli's part of the family.
Lucille, is that any way to address your mother?
Mother?
And happy to contribute to the scheme as long as he gets his precious pills. Paula falls for his bullshit hook, line, and sinker, directly contributing to Maria's death as she's tending to his ass instead of helping her sister.
Paula, get the gun!
I guess this is less of a plot hole, more like a general complaint. No one's that fucking dumb, right?
No, there's no way.
Ladies, comment below. In the final act, we get nothing. No wrap up with police, no explanation about what the heck happened to Henry, nada. Just a fade out to Paula trying to admit to her poppy that the dumb sister survived.
Maria.
Truly tragic stuff. But for what it is, a low budget Tubi B horror flick, Match is a winner and I had a blast. If you enjoyed this descent into madness, join the horde. Hit that like and drop a comment with your favorite B-horror gem. And subscribe for more horror comedy mayhem. That's it for now, creeps. Keep those horror films flowing. And if you laugh when others scream, you've found your home. This has been The Laughing Dead. Thanks for tuning in.